And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host Ray. With me as always we have Fada,
Yellow.
we have Dion,
Good evening.
and welcoming back Crystal.
Hola.
And we have some new faces. I guess one of them is D Wolf. Introduce yourself, player.
Hey, how you guys doing? This is D Wolf. I was invited by Crystal. We're all friends from Brooklyn, and I've been hearing a bunch of your conversation. I thought it was interesting, so here I am.
Wait,
Uh,
do I know you? Because Crystal knows me from elementary school back in New York. So do I know you?
I
No.
doubt it.
He's from I'm gonna let him talk.
What's that?
Hey. Welcome to the show, D Wolf. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
I guess another person was here, but she dropped off. I don't know if she's coming back. But how's everybody doing today?
Good.
Pretty good.
Yo, I'm burned out
Why you burnt out, Father?
because this country, bro, burns me out.
I hear you.
Man,
Well, let's get started with one of the topics. Is that a 107-year-old woman came to the court and talked about the Tulsa bombers. Have any of y'all seen that?
Yep.
No, first time hearing that.
Okay, Father, since you brought it to me, I want your opinion. I would like your opinions on what you thought about what she was saying.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is I think it's amazing how this woman is 107 years old because the atrocities that she had to face 100 years ago, she was 7 years old when her entire community got burned down because they were successful and they were black, literally.
Mhm.
So I just find it very interesting that she has lived to this day in order to tell the story of how her community got bombed. And I would almost say it's like almost divine intervention that she got to live that long to tell the story because like the big thing is when we talk about the atrocities that America has placed on the people that built this country from the ground up, it's always something, oh, it happened so long ago, we're past that now. Martin Luther King had a dream and now we're here. But here's this woman to tell you, no, ain't no dream. Y'all still messing it up. Y'all still getting it wrong to this day, 100 years later. I was a child, y'all were getting it wrong, and now it's 2021. Things were supposed to have changed, and I have to sit in a room full of people to explain what happened to me when it should be clear that this was a crime against humanity. So, and it wasn't just her, it was two other people too whose names I cannot remember. I think one of them is 100 years old, and another one, I forgot their age, but it was three people that testified about the bombings and how that community was destroyed. And like they pull no punches. It's like they want justice. Like 100 years later, they still want justice because it was not given to them, and it has not, it was not taken seriously up until now. So I guess I'm really looking forward to what is going to happen after these testimonies because now you can't say it didn't happen. You can't undermine it. It is right there in your face and you have to face it.
Hmm.
Anybody else want to jump in?
Well, the fact that this is coming out now, ironically, and they have not been assassinated yet with that information, it's kind of interesting. So I definitely want to follow up on this case. And do you have like an article of where they would have this information on, or is it just all about like if I was to put in a name, it would pull up?
I looked at. Oh, am I on? Hold on. I looked it up on YouTube, and basically, she's basically the whole time she's there spelling her story. So I don't know if it's on article form, but I know it's on YouTube, so I can
Okay.
probably send you the link there.
All right. I would appreciate it.
You can forward
Dion.
that link to me too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's a
Cool.
chat in there, so I'm gonna just put the link in there, and y'all can just pick it up from there.
Got it.
All right.
All right.
Dion, what you think?
It's just
Hmm.
it's just scary to think about.
Hmm.
Like I don't know how to put it to words for real. Like Crystal said, it's a shock that something hasn't happened to her in order to like silence her.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I'm not even gonna say that because then. Mm-mm.
I guess because she was under the radar all this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now, what does she have to lose now? You know, exposing everything.
True.
Right.
It's probably the same way that one woman felt when she admitted that Emmett Till didn't whistle at her and all that other stuff. She was like,
Exactly. Yep.
And
I
I
had
hope she's
Last
rotten
minute.
in hell for what she did to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought it was really like great. I think it's really great because you hear stories from it. Because I think we all heard about the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings, and I think it's amazing we hear for someone that actually lived through it and like they can tell you what they see through it. Because I think the closest thing I've ever heard to it was like Charlie Wilson. I think he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about it on the Breakfast Club as well. How like they couldn't even tell nobody, even if you even mention it, like people will kill you over that. So I
Yeah.
think it's great that someone that's like Father done said lived that long and like can tell you the story of everything that happened. I'm pretty sure this stuff that um she could tell you more, but she probably just gave you like the bluff notes of it. So that's like I said,
And
I
this
think
is
it's really special here.
this is the times we're living in where there's a lot of revelations coming out about things in the past that no one knew before. Like no one knew before. We were taught these things, but we didn't know the specifics or where people stood in certain things. And now we're getting all of it. And it's no coincidence that these things are happening now during the time of it's a new age now, age of information, age of Aquarius. Like it's a new age, so these things have to come out. Like, even if you don't want it to, you can't hide it now. It's gonna come out somewhere or the other.
And even then, people still trying to defend some of the wrongdoings, which is really weird
Mm.
to find that. Like I
How do you
seen like a lot of
defend
people.
destroying a whole neighborhood? How do you justify that?
This is
Yeah, some
America.
people are set in their ways. Some
Yeah,
people set in their ways. Some of them are like, some of them are straight up agents, because they are on that side of the ones that did do it. And they're the ones that she was afraid of, that the reason why she kept quiet the whole time. They still have these people out there. But at least she had to say it. I'm glad she did.
I wonder if this is going to be an oncoming thing where more people are like going to start talking about their experience with that. And
Yeah.
there might come a point where actual names of people who were involved in it, who did XYZ, who organized this shit might start coming out.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I believe it will. I have no doubt about that.
I think that
I was about to.
experience is one
Go
thing.
ahead, Father. Go ahead, Father.
I think the experiences is one thing, but I think the main issue from what I'm looking at is narrative. Because we could have all the facts and we could all collectively say this is terrible. But until there is like a narrative that actually denounces what happened and actually makes sure that the people who were descendants of those that were affected by it are given, support and are actually like given the tools to heal from that tragedy because it hasn't happened yet, then maybe things will change. But if we keep just, this happened in history and then we close the book, then there's no point because we've done that before.
Yeah. Nobody delves into it. They just
Those
talk
who
about it and like,
ignore
yeah, it
history
just
are
happened
being
and it's
repeated.
gone.
Well, the times are changing where we as a people, and I don't mean to come off sounding like a little like Malcolm X, but
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go ahead. That's who you should be sounding like now.
Right. We as a people, we really need to protect people who are 107. Okay. As much as Alzheimer's is coming on, you know how cases are. If she's giving facts as her brain and trust and believe they'll try to pull some kind of health issue she has.
Yep. I'm
Some
sick
Oh
of
yeah,
just.
they're gonna try to say, oh, she has something wrong with her brain, Alzheimer's,
She's
dementia, some
remembering
shit like
wrong.
that.
right.
Yeah.
They know wrong is wrong and right is right. And people are coming forward and standing up for what they believe in and cannot be silenced with this canceling culture. Don't even get me started. But I'm just saying,
Mhm.
I'm sure they're going to pull that stunt in the court. I would love to watch what's going to unfold and how it unfolds, because that's what they always do. They always pull these stunts. Oh, she's crazy,
Yeah.
mentally ill. Oh, she's, you know. But just
Like my man just said, like more people need to come out and talk about it, not just her, just to validate what she's saying, because you know they're gonna pull that.
Okay, so let me ask y'all this: do y'all think they're going to put this in the history books? Because obviously, I'll be honest, I never learned none of this stuff in high school. I haven't even
Exactly.
No,
learned none of this stuff
no,
in
they're not.
college. But
Yeah.
No, they're not.
I believe they will starting like it's when this happens, when
Man,
more of
listen,
this comes
they're
out and
trying to
they
flat out
start,
erase
letting
hold
people
on,
talk
slavery from
about
hold
it,
on, Dion,
then
American
hold
it
on, Dion.
history.
will.
What is time?
Yeah, I
Say it again,
believe
D.
as of now it's not happening, but I believe because too much things are coming out now, you cannot hide what's coming out now. The things that are coming out, you have to document this because things need to be corrected. And it's up to us. You see us talking here, like it's up to us to keep this
Yeah.
shit alive. You understand? That's why I'm glad you're recording this. So this, post this shit. This needs to be spread like wildfire. You can't hide from this stuff because what the problem is, people are they're not doing it. They're too afraid to talk about it. From backlash and all that stuff, and afraid of people call it the clowns in America, so they don't say CIA, so they don't get what do you call it, logarithms. Like if you're on YouTube, won't people are afraid of that,
Algorithm.
but yeah, algorithm. Thank you. So yeah, as long as we keep doing what we're doing and we encourage the truth, that's all we need to do. And I don't care, like this. I talk about these things a lot on like my channel and on Facebook and stuff like that. Like this true shit. Like I don't care if it hurts anyone. I don't care. As long as you like bring the shit out, talk about it, yo. These things happen. People had experiences. You cannot be afraid. And this fear shit is why it took her so long. If you think about it, this is what we need. We got to keep doing this. So I think it will. It will. It might not come tomorrow, but they'll start documenting these things. We got to, and we cannot leave it to the powers that be or the powers that shouldn't be to put this in the history books. We need to start taking control of that shit too when it comes to our future. When our kids start growing up and learning about history, we are the ones that has to document this. When we have our kids, if the school ain't teaching it, we teach them that, and that's how it spreads.
I agree. What was you saying, Dion?
We're talking about a system that is literally trying to either retell or erase slavery from American history. So you really expect me to believe that they're going to allow this to get out?
Oh, I'm not leaving it to them. That's my point. We cannot leave it to them. We can't be at their mercy when it comes to our history. And that's what I've tried. That's basically what I try to preach. We can't have them, we can't be like, that's my problem. We keep leaving it to them. Why don't you do this? Why don't you tell the truth about us? No, it's fine. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to tell them. We'll do it. It's our history anyway. We'll do it. We need to gain that power. Yeah, I don't like this. This thing where we're always at these people's mercy, and that's the type of thinking of why she was afraid. Why people are afraid to speak the truth. Why we can't. Why these people don't even teach us the true history in school. Why are they afraid? Because they know if we know, we're gonna spread this shit, and we know these things for a fact, and they don't teach us these things as fact. It's up to us, straight up. I don't care what if they want to if they say no or not allow it now. And what? That's basically where I stand on it. I think it'll come out.
I 100% agree with D Wolf because it's a narrative thing, like I said before. If we control the narrative, then they can't mess up the information because it came
Right.
directly from us.
But Farah, even though they are controlling stuff, they control it so deep. And when I say they, you already know who they are. I don't have to point it out, right?
Right.
Powers that shouldn't be. That's what I call
Right.
them. Powers that shouldn't be.
I like that term.
That's very
I
clever.
like
I
that
like
term.
that. I like
Hunty,
that.
It's not mine. I'll give credit to where it's due. It's a dude named Zachary K. Hubbard. That's where I got it from. So I ain't gonna take credit for that, but yeah, I like that term.
I'm giving it
But
to
go
you.
ahead, Crystal. Thank you.
it goes so deep behind the lines that it starts with the children. You know how, like, back in the slave days, they would take the children away from the women and men. The children were not created by breeding one another. They took them away because they knew the history. So if they gave the children history of where they came from, scholars, queens, kings, those kind of people, that they would know exactly where they came from. So I feel like it goes so deep on where it needs to start so that we can reverse the fuckery that all my mind is on is it starts with the children. It starts with the education system.
Totally.
I agree because one thing I remember, like anytime they mention Black history, you get the standards: your Martin Luther Kings, your Harriet Tubmans, your Garrett Morris, the Booker T. Washington, and like if they wanted to, they'll include Frederick Douglass or Madam C.J. Walker. So when you hear about the people like in Tulsa, excuse me, like I ain't never heard about that until I was an adult. Like some things about the Black Panthers, if it wasn't for the fact that I watched Forrest Gump, I would never know who the Black Panthers are.
Shit.
And
Right.
because that's like the first time I remember watching Forrest Gump, and that's my mom's favorite movie. And then I was like,
Yeah.
"Who are these people?" And then like my mom explained to me those are the Black Panthers and all that stuff. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even know who the Black Panthers was. And even what you saying, like choose their own narrative. Because I remember like, what's that white girl name? The one everybody hate.
Kwame Lauren.
Thank you. I remember she was trying to call Black Panthers a terrorist.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
which white girl that everyone hates. You gotta be more specific.
That part.
She was like the hot.
And which
She
Black
was like the
Panthers?
main white girl everybody didn't like though. That was
Well, she don't know. She don't know. That's the thing, yo. We're leaving it to these white people to tell us this shit. That's the problem. And to your point, Ray, when you say Black history, like this is for everybody. When you hear the word Black history, isn't it the first thing that popped in your mind? Like you in school, from like elementary and beyond. Like the first thing you think about is that picture of just the same people on the classroom on the side, or like on the wall or something, just the same people.
Right.
To your point, that's all I like. When I hear the words Black history, you don't think about me. I don't think about myself or my ancestors or the real history of who created the real shit. You just think about the same people they keep throwing at you when February comes around.
Exactly. And honestly, and I shouldn't be like this. I used to hate doing Black History Month reports. And
Me
like,
too. Me too.
now that I'm older, I feel like I wish I could have done more. But then again, I didn't know as much. It's like now that you know as much, I wish you could have done more. So, and like I said, on the Black Panther narratives, because I remember Tommy Lauren, if it was up to people like Tommy Lauren, Black Panthers would be a terrorist organization. But since Black Panthers had like videotapes of them doing things for the community and like helping out the community, it's like people could see what they was really about.
Yo, speaking of Black Panthers, what they don't teach you, this is another thing. This is probably why they didn't teach us about them in school. Their correlation with what's that organization with the guns again? The NRA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the NRA is what allowed the Black Panthers to even have guns, because when the Black Panthers came out, none of these motherfuckers wanted them to have guns. None of them. But now they have it where they didn't teach us about Black Panthers that's why in our minds, and speaking on what Tommy Lauren is saying, we have them as these black terrorists who evolved into gangs and shit like that. They don't teach us about what they did to the community for the community, and the reason they had the guns was protected from the racist cops that was going to come in and do all that shit. That's why they demonize the NRA and shit like that. Because like when you look at the NRA and shit, everybody is involved. But they have you thinking it's just these rednecks that's carrying guns and shit. And the amount of black people that in that shit, it's like, it's insane. But you don't, that's not in your mind, especially when you say the words NRA. That's not in your mind. The first thing you think of is a redneck, right?
Yeah.
That is
And
very
they
true.
didn't teach us that shit. Now they demonize it. That's why they demonize the NRA, so we don't associate them with the Black Panther and shit like that. They cause this confusion. That's why we don't want to look into our history. We're looking at because it seems like a bad path of history that we don't want to look back upon.
Ignorance is weaponized here. That's what it is. They weaponize ignorance.
Look what they start cartoons too. Like Teen Titans. They created Teen Titans Go. Then I heard how they fucked up Powerpuff Girls and they made the mean one, Buttercup, a black one. Like, are you seriously trying to?
See, I'm mad at the fact they even made a live action
Right?
Of the Powerpuff Girls in the first place. I
was mad when they remade the cartoon first.
Yo, yeah.
I wasn't. Maybe it's just me. I wasn't all that mad about that. I thought it was decent. It wasn't as good as the original, but it was decent.
Right.
When they tried to go to live action route, that's what like, all right, y'all just officially murdered the
They need
Powerpuff
to
Girls.
stop. I understand it's the same company, but they need to stop.
Something
that
is
wasn't
gonna be live action.
In the remake in the cartoon remake of the Powerpuff Girls, they made a black Powerpuff Girl. There was a fourth.
I saw that.
And I was happy with that. Like,
they said she was the first one, but wouldn't it have been better in the context of the original show?
I mean, in hindsight,
it would have been more badass than silly. See a black Powerpuff Girl kicking ass the way the rest of them did, and in those stories, it would have been insanely entertaining. But I don't know. I cringe when I think of the remake. Sorry.
I think to me, at least they didn't turn it into Bunny, because
oh god,
I cringe at that episode.
Oh no, yeah.
That had no business happening. That's the one thing I can say had no business happening. Just
Yo, a lot of stuff done slide on Powerpuff Girls. Where the regular girl, she was like, my parents said I was a mistake too. Something like that. It's like something along the lines of that.
There's so many and really all of these old cartoons we used to watch. There's so much shit that like we didn't understand as kids, but now as adults, it's just shit. That's what was happening.
Oh, Animaniacs is like the main like people that does that. The type of stuff I like rewatch them.
Fingerprints. Like anytime Yakko said "Good night, everybody," you know something fucked up was just said. But now I get it. Before when I was a kid, I was like, "Why do you say good night, everybody all the time?" Now you see why.
You have a point, because I did go back and then see, like, just to see the compilation of Yakko saying good night everybody, and then every one of them was a dirty joke, and I was like, oh wow.
Yep.
The fingerprints,
I miss those
the one I laughed out loud at.
Yo. She's like, well, I think that was like, I'm not even gonna go there.
That was just looking at Prince and was like, I don't think so.
yeah. Sick.
Okay, any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Control the narrative.
Sorry. I'm immature. I know. I don't care. Anyway.
He was there, yo. She was holding him, and he said it like, what else did you mean, son? Oh man.
Oh boy.
Okay. The next thing I want to talk about, Father Dunn brought this up to me, asked me we talk about this. He sent me a tweet from a guy. I won't want to say his name, but I'll send it in the link if anyone's interested. But basically, he was like a video of Candace Owens, and I guess she was talking about suicide. She was blaming it on PC culture and the culture of victimhood. And like it made a lot of people mad at Candace Owens, and she's already not liked, but she was saying some things that she was like, because of the suicide, blaming victimhood, and she was blaming like people being victims about it. So, Father, since you sent this to me, what are your thoughts on this?
I first want to start this off by saying Candace Owens is literally incompetent. literally in every sense of the word. Um,
Wow.
my thing is, right, because she was like, yeah, people, it's easy to be a victim because the victimhood, like, you don't have to do anything. You get to be weak, you know what I'm saying? Because life is hard and people don't want to deal with life because life is hard. And I'm like, the audacity. First of all, if someone is a victim, they're a victim. There's no like qualifiers or anything. If you are victimized, then that's what happened to you. You know what I mean? So the fact that she was in that video, she was trying to rearrange definitions to fit her narrative is something that, and that's another thing a lot of them conservatives love to do. That's why Candace Owens is like peddled out there the most. When you talk about like conservative talking points, one of the main people you're probably going to see talking about it is either Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, or Candace Owens. One of those three in full rotation every time. Now they may put Tommy Lauren in the front here and there because she a blonde white girl with blue eyes. That's America's sweetheart. That's the American sweetheart syndrome right there. But especially when it comes to like issues about racism and issues about like PC culture and shit like that, the first person they put is motherfucking Candace Owens every single time, licking them boots for good old massa. But the thing is, I wanted to bring this up because I think it's very interesting how she will take something as sensitive as suicide and manipulate the information in order to cater to her audience or the people that are listening, because she doesn't really speak facts. She only manipulates the information that caters to her people, and then they broadcast it out. The Fox News people, the people that be listening to all those right wing types of shows and publications and shit like that. That's her audience. And when she goes viral for like her hot takes and stuff like that, it's like clockwork because I see this all the time. She'll say something very like controversial, and then the people who are getting offended are like people from the left, or they call them like the liberals and stuff like that. And it's like it's a cycle every single time. And you watch these things and then you come to figure out like down the line, these sides are the very same people. They are both sides of the same coin. So when Candace Owens is speaking on these things, I think it's important for us to listen, not listening in the sense that we want to hear what she has to say, but listen in the sense that the way people react is how conversations either get started or conversations derail into something that's much more sinister. And now you have people co-signing things that they shouldn't be co-signing. You have people saying things that really don't make any sense in the context of certain situations. And this is one of those examples right here. Like, why would she come on the internet and say some dumb shit like, well, people who commit suicide, they just
It's a
PC.
voice change.
That's just that PC shit. They just being victims. And I'm like,
Right.
no.
Right.
Like, what?
Well,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it sounds dumb, but there are legitimately people that say, oh man, she's spitting. I'm like, no, she's not.
well,
What?
for me, when it comes to Candace, I always see her. I see it as because there are things she says that I can't argue with, but there are things like you said, she is my whole thing on her because I remember when she first started because I followed her career. Like when she started, I remember how she started she herself started off as a victim, and then she became what she is. And what I noticed about her is she is a hustler, and I noticed that first of all, she's always trying to prop up Black people by saying stop being victims, this and the other. But at the same time, didn't she just marry? You see where she is. You see she's appealing to the right, but she does nothing to really help the left or the people that are against her. It's all about her propping herself up. Because look at her now, where she has her own shit on what's the guy's name? You just mentioned it. Ben Shapiro's channel.
Ben
Now she has her own
Shapiro's,
show. She's basically trying to become her own Oprah. That was always my gripe with her. Is like she does nothing she doesn't give any solutions. basically.
At all.
And that's what some people on her, even people on the right, and there are black people on the right that don't like her for that as well, because she's basically the black Tommy Lauren, if you think about it. Because she will say things that make sense, but like you said, what she just popped out of nowhere talking about suicide, you know she didn't come up with that on her own. You know somebody said, "Yo, you know what you got to talk about? You know, let's, you know, just because she's trying to bring, you know, more white people on her side when it comes to black conservatives and shit like that. Like, that's not how it is, yo. That's why my thing is about, you know, when you have to speak the truth, yo, let's speak the hard truth. Let's not talk about sides here. And that was always my problem with her. Because there are times I had to defend her and shit like that. But I always know, because I'll defend her when she's right, but when she's wrong and when she does shit like what you just mentioned, that's the times I'll be like, okay, you see, this is you under their control now. Well, you understand? That's why, I always tell people, that's why I'm an independent, because I don't fall into any of these sides, because I know the game from both sides. And I know her game.
As far as Candace Owens goes, she's one of those people that entertain the masses are not for her people, because I've already to her childhood story of how she was rejected and all this crap. So I know where she's pulling this from, but the fact that she chose suicide, she has a sense of attention, and she feels like she's the only important one. So she's going to lack empathy for others. She's narcissistic. Narcissistic people, they just do shit to get attention and admiration for what they've done. So talking about suicide, people do not just wake up one day and say, hey, I want to kill myself. It's years of being fucking victimized. So before she opens her mouth, she should look at what the differences is between a woman who has a solution and can hold on to it and not lose it, versus someone who's surrounded by people putting them down every day, or just themselves fighting with their shadow selves. Okay, before she comes on and try to entertain her master.
Because what she does is put victimhood under one umbrella, so that way she could get one side angry and make one side prop her up for getting them angry and making them. Because when she says, she never specifies when it comes to what the victimhood is. She just put it in one umbrella. So when the left get mad and start attacking her, the people on the right will always be like, look how they treated her. What she say wrong? You do act like victim. No. Victimhood of what though? You know, victimhood of what? If you're suicidal, that's not the same thing as what other people who complain about victimhood mentality is trying to say. You understand? That's why that's what I see about her. So because there are a lot of people that used to follow her, like that were fans of her, that realize what she's doing, that they still light her up on Twitter, and these were people that started off with her because she's playing the game, and they see that she has that white master.
I will admit, I don't want to say I was one of them, but when I first met her, I was like, I didn't understand why people was going at her the way she did, but I started getting it once I start going deeper and deeper, especially when you said that she talks about victimhood in a general form, and that's honestly, you hit the nail on the head with that, because I think that's what I think about a lot of conservatives and why this whole left versus right. I'm like you, I'm not reading left or right, but you know, right is wrong is wrong. But it's just to a point where it's just like you gotta really look into things, and you wonder why people are acting like this. Like when she talk about like the black victimhood, it's just like, do you know where they come from to where other people come from? Where people talking about the privilege you have in this part, and for people who try to work all day but doesn't get it because somebody that's privileged is getting it over there, and maybe the people that's not as privileged work twice as hard than the people that are privileged. And I see, even though like white people done attacked her, I feel like she done forgot that, you know, those same people was attacking you. I don't know why that she's starting to side with them now, but
yeah, they did that to her. That's how she started. That's how when she was in college, I think some senator's son was threatening her. I think they were blowing up her phone saying you're a nigger, blah, 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 and started threatening her and shit like that. That's how she started off as a victim in college. And when it went to the news and shit like that, because because the guy that was attacking her was connected to I'm guessing it was a senator, but it was somebody of power. And that's how it all began. And from there, that's how she blew up into, so she knows how it is. That's what I'm saying. That's how I know she's hustling now. She understands what victimhood is, like legit victimhood is. So why doesn't she differentiate when she's talking about it? And that's where and she's a smart woman. So she's got to know the difference. She's got to know she can't be putting victimhood in a big umbrella like that, because what true victimhood is compared to what most people are talking about when they talk about things like suicide. Like, you're not talking about the same thing you went through, by shitting on suicide, when people that were doing the same thing to you almost put you there. They almost made you suicidal because the shit wasn't on the news and you started getting depressed. She said it herself. She was in that state of mind of suicide. So how's she talking about it now? As if it's not a big deal.
Because she has people inflating her sense of her own importance.
Yeah.
And then this plays into what I said in the group chat when this first got mentioned. She's making this about her. That's all this is. This is, in a sense, not that all this is. I didn't know her full backstory and everything else, but now I'm like, for her, this is almost a revenge story.
Yeah,
that's all the fuck this is to her.
Yeah. And look at who she married.
I'm Candace Owens.
Look who she's pregnant by. So sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I knew Candace Owens had a specific personality disorder when she was I guess she went somewhere to debate with someone, and it was a man who changed into a woman surgically. And she, off the bat, what did she say? She said, I understand that you want to be called a her, but as far as you're concerned, I'm going to call you a he or something. Like, she was disrespectful.
Yeah, I told you about that. She is with Blair White. She's what do you call? Okay, you see, you decide these pronoun things. Hold on. She's a trans woman. Okay. So, and the worst part is, this was on Dave Rubin's show. The worst part is, he invited them not to debate. They're just supposed to discuss topics. They're both on the same side of the topics. But Candace, as soon as they sat down, man, she just became combative. And from the jump, it was supposed to be them on the same side discussing topics about how ridiculous the left was acting. So that's how it was supposed to be. But as Crystal said, she's so narcissistic. She made it about her. As soon as Dave said, "Okay, let's get started." Okay, before we do get started, Blair, I just want you to know that I understand that you're trans, you're trans and blah blah blah, but I will not be referring to you as a she. And it just blew, and it just made them fight. And I was like, they came there to be on the same side, and she just jumped on her. Oh my God.
And these are the people that it's following a mindset like that. Now that's the scariest part of the whole thing. And the fact that she's attacking people who are truly suicidal lets us know where this world is going. If you follow people like that, well, who else are you going to follow? Because I bet you if you're going to follow somebody like that, you might as well follow Hitler when he comes back from the fucking dead.
That's the far right for you.
Yep.
I mean, it's already these crazy ass, freaking neo-Nazi ass people out here. Like, but man, as someone who has struggled with that type of shit myself, and has also prevented 2 suicides. All the situation does is aggravate.
Yeah.
Because
I've been there personally too. So,
because it's like, this shit is real. Like, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, the trauma that leads to that type of shit. This shit is real.
It is. It is. And I think the reason why she was put up to attack suicidal people or the topic alone, if we look at statistics, who are the people, what culture, what ethnic group, not culture, but what ethnic group suffers most with that and does not get help because they don't trust the medical system?
It's us.
It's,
That's a blatantly obvious one. It's us.
And we're the ones that don't go to therapy.
we don't. Because half the time, if we do and we say we want to kill ourselves and our children, who's suffering? The children. They're gonna grab our kids away. This is why we don't go. Or they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna lock you up for 2 weeks in some G building, and then how are we gonna get bills paid? It's about the problems that come into the Black community. Why we just don't say no. We don't want to help. We don't love ourselves enough. But damn it, can you make it easy? If we tell you we want to
they know this,
and the children, don't take our fucking kids away. If you do, make sure you make a way for us to get our damn kids back once we are well. But if just the medical system alone, we saw what happened with this virus. We saw who was passing away. We saw the ethnic group. Why the fuck would someone say, okay, let me go to the hospital and get psychiatrically evaluated? Let me get evaluated for my mental health. Someone's going to suffer in the end, not just the person getting help.
Yeah.
I guess the victim then.
She ain't helping that.
Okay.
She ain't helping that at all. She's doing nothing for that, especially by coming out talking about suicide as a victim. No.
Real Black women in Congress or people who talk about the politics topics in a healthy way. What she's doing is she's just entertaining for her master. That's just how it is. What it is.
And they ain't gonna let somebody talk about it in Congress. They don't want nobody talking about us in Congress like that. So,
any last words before we move on to our next topic?
I just want to say that like, even if we know the truth about certain things, and even if we've educated ourselves, and even if we have solutions, one of the main problems is that there's going to be an opposite mindset. And the opposite mindset has money, they have resources, they have everything that we don't have. So even if we are based on truth, the very fact that we don't play the same game that they do means that we are at a disadvantage. So that alone is what makes it so hard.
I believe that's what we gotta focus on. We gotta figure out a way to get to that level. Beat them at their own game, or make a better game that's better than theirs. So we gotta figure. That's what we gotta focus on, a solution to this shit.
Knowledge,
so that it can be. And that's where it starts.
And we gotta identify the molds that pretend that they are for our people when they really aren't. And Candace Owens is the first one that we need to start with.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to say about her. The last thing about her is that she got power. That's what happened. She got power and it corrupted her because she didn't start off that way. Because I remember I followed her from the beginning. I saw her change into what this is.
Let's be real. She was corrupted before she has the influence she has now. All her.
No, she wasn't as bad. She was not as bad when you first started. Because
that's what I was gonna say.
She was not as bad.
All the power, the power and exposure she currently has, all it did was make it worse.
When she got the mic, I noticed when she was on the YouTube channel, I got it. All right, I was okay. I'm with you. Once she got that mic and she started blowing up, and when she started talking to Connie and shit like that, it got to her head and it got corrupted, and people just started talking to her. Now she's got all that money, and look who she's married to now, and that's what I see where we are now, because she did not start off. I didn't see her start off like that. Because remember, she started off as a victim. She overcame that victimhood. Good. All right. But now you're shitting on victims? Something got twisted along the road.
Again, that's absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you.
They know they're Negroes too. They know.
And that's the best weapon. That's the best. We're the best weapon against ourselves.
Yep.
Because we're so powerful and they know how powerful we are. The best way to do it is keep us as pets and weapons. And that's how they treat us.
I agree with you, but I still think there's people just like they're so far gone that I don't know why people listen to him, like Jesse Lee Peterson. Like I used to tell father this all the time. Watch him. I watch him coon. Here's the thing, I don't like using the word coon because I used to say nobody don't know a real coon if he will buck dance in front of you. But Jesse Lee Peterson, that man coon so hard, his artwork is I look at it, it's like, wow.
He needs to see, because there are times like, yo, dude, you're right, man. Why do you have to keep propping up Whitey like this? Stop. Why are you calling Drum the Great White Hope all the time? Why are you doing this, man? You're losing me here, yo. What the fuck is wrong with it? I'm like, there are times I'm like, yeah, you're totally right, yo. You destroyed her in the argument. You destroyed him in the argument. Yeah. But why do you have to bring white people into everything? Why you have to make them better? Why can't you keep, and why, when you have guests that are black, why do you have to make them want to love white people? And so, yo, let them be them. Let them be them. Yo, we need to have power now, yo. You need to see that. That's my gripe with him, yo. His love for white people is insane, yo. Right. Oh my God. Like, there are times I want to share his shit because he'll be right, but I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that, man, because I don't want people thinking I'm like this dude, yo, because this guy's fucking, he straight up bends the knee to white people. It's insane.
So, Ray.
Oh my God.
Person that you were talking about and hold on, wait a minute. The first thumbnail I see is "Hang Yourself, Nigga." Like, he kind of looks like the guy in Boondocks that was like, he only likes Caucasians.
Uncle
Ruckus. Ruckus, yeah.
No relation.
Oh,
bruh,
man.
The first time I saw him, I was amazed. I was like I wasn't even mad or offended or nothing. I was amazed because it's like stuff like this, like you were saying, you only see it in cartoons like Uncle Ruckus, and that's supposed to be over the top. When you see this stuff live and in person in 4K, you're like,
this is
wow.
Boondocks is our Simpsons, yo. Straight up, Boondocks is our Simpsons because that shit's cold. A whole bunch of shit that happens now. It's insane.
That man cool so hard he can't even speak English right.
Exactly. That's another thing. Like, yo, you can't even talk properly. Come on. Man. Fuck.
I remember one of the, because I was watching the Fallen State things, and like one of he had like these comedians on, and he was like, the way he was getting at Tamir Rice, and he was calling him a 12-year-old man, and it was just like, yo, are we serious right now? It's like you must be here to piss people off, and then the questions he asks is so vague. It's like very vague, and it's just like I can see why like people just like
they walk off, right?
Stuff like that. That stuff is
some of them
like,
walk off. They just leave the whole interview like halfway in. You know, they're like, "No, we're done. We're done."
Right. I'm just going through the panel of what he is writing on his thing, and one of the titles is "Angry Black YouTuber Cynthia G promotes Black victimhood and finger pointing at whites." How is this uplifting the Black woman? How is, like, that title needs to be erased?
Because that's their problem. Like him and Candace, they don't uplift us at all. They just tell us what we do wrong, and that's it. They don't say, "Well, what about the good side? Yo, give us something good to look at, so we could, uplift ourselves." They never do that. It's always what we do wrong, and what not all of us are like that. So let's calm down with that narrative, yo.
But the problem with that is like what you just said and how he blames us. The shit that he says is shit we've already heard before. Like ages ago. Like that's what they
Mhm.
used to justify harming black folks. So he's
Mm-hmm.
literally a parrot,
Yep.
an outdated parrot.
God.
And these are
This.
the people that we need to just. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to, put a hit on people and shit. So let me.
I think I know where you're going at, but go ahead, continue. Because I probably said the same thing. Go ahead, continue.
These are the people that we really, when I say we need to remove the molds from our culture, I still sound like I'm talking about assassinating someone. So let me just shut up. You know what I mean.
I said the same thing. You're not alone. I done said the same thing. Go ahead.
May I? What she's saying is not in the sense of like wishing harm on anyone, even as bad as they may or may not deserve it. But these are the individuals, these moles or whatever, need to be silenced. They need to be stripped of their platforms.
Thank you. Bingo.
Here's the thing.
I think his audience needs to wise up. That's what I think. Because I'm all about free speech. I don't care what people say, but I just think people need to, whoever like are hard body fans of his, they like you gotta see through this dude, because like how are you black and just not seeing what he's doing, son? I don't care. Like I could agree with him all day, but nah, you cannot just stay there and just applaud him all day, knowing what he's doing. That's not helping us. Shit. Oh my God.
Maybe we need to get back the great white hope.
Oh Lord.
Silence.
Straight up. I'm like, yo, I ain't even mad at that. I'll tell you that now. I ain't mad at it. But this dude and his history, he's the reason. He's one of the reasons why we're here. Why we're in this trouble right now. The whole three strikes law and all. So much to get into with him. That Mr. Robinette Biden, the slave owning family. Oh, I could go all day on this dude. Like how he's a mistake. Oh man.
Let her play now.
And since y'all was talking about mental health, today is actually, I think, is Mental Health Awareness Day. Oh, Mental Health Action Day. I think that's what it's called. So obviously, D Wolf and Crystal's father and I, and Dion, we always talk about mental health and the things that need to be taught and how to help people with mental health. So I'm going to ask you, do you have any advice for people with mental health, or like how to like at least get through your day? Because there's a lot of people with mental health problems. We want to make sure like people try to live better. So do you have any advice for people for that?
Speak up. Speak the fuck up. No.
Yep.
Because the biggest problem is, at least from my personal experience, what I've seen when it comes to mental health issues, suicides and things like that. Stop internalizing your shit. Stop internalizing your shit. Because all it does is you're just gonna drive your. I don't want to say all you're gonna do is drive yourself crazy, but that's literally what you're doing.
Yeah.
As bad as I don't want to use that term, that is exactly what you're doing.
Anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah, me. And if there's always look for somebody who, on top of what Dion's saying, to speak up. But if there's nobody that can relate to you or anything like that, because I've been through this, what I did was I actually just researched, man. I read books, I listened to music, like all the music I listen to. When you hear the lyrics and they're talking about their problems, sometimes not listening to the music alone helps. Read their story, like look up the artist, see how they got through it, because sometimes they don't put that in the lyrics themselves. They just sing about what they've been through and what they did, but that's all you know. If you look up what they've been through and how they overcame it, you implement that too. And also read. And also meditation, yo. Meditation helps a lot. That should save my life. And I spent a year of doing it every day straight, a meditation. And I don't say just sit there and just do it. Yo, read it. Look up how to do it the right way. Like all you really and truly just research everything. Your problems, research your problems, because you got to know you're not the only one. And you got to remember that there are people, some people, you might be in the worst case, but you might be in a case where there are people who had bigger problems than you and they overcame it. And that should help you, tremendously and give you more hope that you can get out of it. So yeah, just research and look into meditation, and yeah.
Okay.
Tom, get your daughter. Because she's putting this new toy you got her in her damn mouth. Maybe that's not free. That's not it either. No.
Aw. What I would say about mental health is two things. It takes 21 days to rearrange the brain in a way that you can get away from bad habits, but it's going to take 21 days of repeating it constantly, doing that positive thing every day. So what I would say for anyone dealing with mental health issues is to write about 10 or 15 things that are positive that you may have a fear of. So say, for instance, if you have a fear of going outside on a daily basis, you would want to put on that paper, I will go outside and be positive in my thinking. Everything will work out. Everything will be balanced. You write that on the paper and you say it every day for 21 days. Your brain will start, you will start believing. So I would say that. And the second thing is,
I'm gonna mute my.
she's inputting. So thing is that the people that are around you, it's very, very important to have people that you can vent to and it stays with them, have a solution attached to it. If they don't have a solution attached to you and then say, oh, you'll get over it. Oh, what's the big deal? Get away from those people as fast as you can. Not only are you dealing with your issues, dealing with there to support you. Right now, you can't deal with the fake facade of friendship. It's either you're going to be there for me and I can tell you everything and it stays between you and me, or leave me the fuck alone. We need to stop entertaining these kind of friendships because they add on to our mental illness. So those are the only two that I have to say about that.
Father, is on you.
So I've actually during this whole pandemic, I've been watching people. I've been watching the public. I've been watching how society has moved as a collective, and it just further reinforces what I've been saying for years. And Ray, you've heard me say it ever since this podcast has started. America does not care about mental health. So you have to care about it more than anyone else could ever try to. Because we are in an environment that literally does not care about you. You could have a job. I have seen people with jobs that pay their rent, they do everything America says of them to do. But once the pandemic hit and they lost their jobs, these were the same people that got evicted. These were the same people that had that went into bankruptcy because one of their family members got sick or whatever, and they lost their job, so they don't have the health insurance anymore. I have seen people that were at a comfortable place literally drop down to the bottom off of something that had absolutely nothing to do with them. And when that happens to you, your mental health is going to tank. You know what I'm saying? You have people they was talking about now more than ever. People were looking for therapists, and there was an actual shortage of mental health programs and shit like that because we're not funding them because everybody has this mentality of hyper individualism in America. I gotta get mine before you gotta get yours type shit. We don't foster communities where people can actually talk to each other if we're going through problems, or if I'm behind on something, or if I'm going through something, I don't have a neighbor that's going to look out for me, or it's very rare to find a neighbor that's actually going to look out for me type shit. And it's even funnier because like I come from a Ghanaian household, and the community is very, very, very important. Like even like if something happens to me or if something happens to like the family, I know like 10, 11 aunts and uncles that I can call and I can stay with and shit like that. But I noticed for like a lot of my friends, they probably don't even really have that. You know what I'm saying? Or like if they do have that, the people that are in their family or the people that are around them are so toxic, you know what I'm saying, because of the way society uh um create certain mentalities with the working people and people that think, oh, I'm just supposed to go to work and do this and then come home and then do it all over again. Like we are raising people that are like miserable. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the average person in this country is fucking miserable as hell because there's really no point in living in this society if all you're gonna do is just work and make sure that everything is taken care of, but everything is a damn process anyway. So like the environment in itself, like it's not healthy for us, and there has to be a paradigm shift in the way that we do things because we cannot continue like the way we was pre-pandemic because it was literally killing us. Our lifestyles and everything that we're doing is literally killing us. So it has to be a shift. It has to be something in your mind that goes, okay, I am going to be focused on my health. I'm going to be focused on me being better every day instead of me worrying about what bills I have to pay and shit like that. And it's very difficult to come out of that because this society is very unforgiving. You're like one bad paycheck away, you're like one bad bill away from, um, that shit being on your credit score, like once somebody gets evicted, that shit stays on your record. It doesn't matter if you paid your rent 30 years straight. Like it only takes you to mess up once, and the results are catastrophic. And when we're living on that tightrope of being okay versus being absolutely at the bottom, then you wonder why mental health is such a big issue here, because there's no programs, and not even no programs. There's no collective conscious that'll tell you, hey, it's okay if you messed up. Hey, you're not okay, and we need to, put you in an environment where you can take a step back and
Right.
heal and go back to the basics and just breathe. You know what I'm saying? We always running, and then we always doing things to that puts us away from like our health because shit got to get done. And when you have a society like that, the mental health crisis is going to just keep growing and growing and growing into a point where, oh snap, all of these people are miserable, and all of these people are just one bad day away from doing something catastrophic. Hence why you have the school shootings and the mass shootings, and every time you look at the news, somebody done did this and somebody done did that. People are stealing. Like a lot of shit has been happening. So I guess in order to end, like your mental health is based on your environment and the collective consciousness of the people that you interact with every day. And if their shit is down low, then yours is going to be too. So foster environments that will actually help you heal, grow, and be the type of person that you strive to be. And that's all I got.
Yeah, because 100%, we went from a bad place to a worse place. We went from the lifestyle of a 9 to 5, which was the bad place, to staying at home and going crazy, which was the worst place. So it was like a lose-lose. So you're 100%.
And for the fact that some people need a paycheck, those who live paycheck to paycheck, is just like, what are we supposed to do? And you
Yeah.
see other countries, it's just like, okay, our people were in dire need, and even though like the virus is not their fault, we gotta at least help them out. Where America is just like, I need my money, so
Yeah.
I don't know what you about to do, but I know my rent better be due at the first. It's just like, we're in a pandemic. Most people have done lost their jobs. It's just like, I don't care. It's just like, I need my money. So,
Hmm.
I one advice I always tell people is just like, if you can't afford it, because I know therapy is costly because people don't tell you that. People tell you go to therapy, but people do not tell you that therapy is very, very costly. So if you can afford it, try to go to therapy. But always, at least, if someone's there and someone wants to vent to you about their problems, just go ahead and let them vent to you, and be an open ear because it's just what they might need. Because some people they don't really need to go to therapy, but it's good to have someone to talk to about your problems or someone at least to discuss things that's on your head, and and in a non-judgmental form where you don't sound crazy and all that other stuff. Maybe you pass off ideas or hear other people's point of view. So it's just for those that can afford therapy and you're in that mental state. I would say, yeah, go seek therapy, but always at least try to find someone there's always someone that's willing to talk to you or at least lend an open ear. So if you have that type of person in your life, go to him. I wouldn't go to him every time, but at least when you're really, really in dire need and someone you really want to talk to somebody, I would do that. So
And that right one will call you.
Yeah, that right one will call you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. It's like especially I seen this on Facebook a lot where a lot of people are depressed, and then it's just like somebody is always in there. It's like, yo, if you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Now, whether they do it or not, that's up to them. But you at least know you got someone there to that at least hear your problems out.
Yeah.
So any last words before we move on to our final topic?
Nope, that's it.
Great.
Okay. Are y'all familiar with a basketball player named Kwame Brown?
Nope.
I just looked it up and I was dying laughing, but I'm not gonna give it away. I'm gonna let y'all speak.
Okay, for those
And that's
who don't know,
NBA,
yeah.
not college. Okay.
He went.
Okay.
What happened?
For
Just
those
checking.
for those who don't know who Kwame Brown is, he is a basketball player that was selected first overall by the Washington Wizards back in like 2002, 2001, or something like that. And he's been labeled a bust. And basically the running joke of NBA when it comes to draft busting bad players. And then now, he is basically got the smoke for anybody that doesn't mention his name. He's taking shots at everybody. So, Crystal, I'm gonna come to you first. Sis, you find it hilarious. How do you feel? How do you feel about Kwame Brown going off on people?
You know what? I think he had it saved up for masses because when he talks, when somebody talks and you can actually say you don't need to even research what he's saying is the truth. That's real. I feel like he's been quiet so long that he's just talking. And the fact that all these guys, because he's telling everybody's business. He even said one line that I just kept laughing at. He's like, it's funny how all of y'all want to talk about y'all basketball lives. Y'all like y'all measure through playing basketball, but when it comes to this lifestyle, y'all don't know how to live it. Like that was so deep. And somebody who is supposedly crazy or just going off on people to say some kind of stuff like that, just out people. I think that what he's saying is truth. But the way he's doing it is like savagery. Like, oh God, he don't want deep up.
D Wolf, you have anything to say about that?
I have zero knowledge of this. So you're saying he sucked all this time and now he's been drafted? Is that what's going on? Now he's been ridiculed and now at this point he reached a point where you could just talk shit now? Is that what's happening?
Well, the thing is, he lasted it for 12 years. But when I don't know if you ever heard these talks of biggest draft busts. He's always on the list. If he's not number one, he's close to number one. And he's been like the butt of the joke for like bad NBA players for like 20 years. So where it started, because it originally started with Stephen A. Smith calling him a bona fide scrub when he got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. But even then, before then, like, because I'm in DC, a lot of people knew he was a bad player in DC. But he was on. Are you familiar with On the Smoke podcast?
No.
Was well, they mentioned his name. I don't want to say they talked about. They just mentioned his name like at least twice. And I know Gilbert Arenas had a story that had to do with Kwame Brown, and I think that's like he just had enough to where like he was going at Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Stephen A. Smith, Charlamagne Tha God,
Well, I
Jamel
gotta
Hill.
say, well, if he's not that good, but he's out there, that's part of the game, man. I'm sorry, man. You can't. There's no revenge for you.
Well,
you didn't surpass anything. You didn't. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't talk shit at all. I wouldn't talk shit at all. I wouldn't just because you didn't reach that point of if it's well known that you're not that good, you should know you're not that good, man. You're gonna hear your name in not a good way. That you're gonna have to deal with it. At least you're playing basketball. At least you're getting paid big bucks. You might not get the amount superstars are getting, but you get you set. Just shut up. Shut up and take your money, son. That's what I think.
The fact that these guys knew he couldn't play well, he knows he can't play well. It's the fact that they have this kind of mighty bullshit attitude. Because it's one of the things that he said. He said something along the lines where this guy, he's been playing basketball since he was a kid. And the same one that's talking shit about him, he said he never got in trouble in his whole entire life. If he did get in trouble through schoolwork, all he had to do is run 5 miles and never pay the consequences for what he's done. So and he actually put in for somebody to move him out the way because he can't play well. Like they acted like, the guy that's being talked about like a dog, that he was in his way. He's in his way of his limelight. So people like that, after a while, if I know I don't play well, but these bitches over here talking mad shit about me, and they're not humbled at all, yeah, I'm gonna go off on them. I know what my limitations are, but I'll be damned if they come out of your mouth. Right. You don't have a right to talk about me because you're a disgusting human being. You have no morale. I might play bad, but if you have no ethics or morale, you should be the last one talking shit about me.
Is that what he said? In response to the bullshit that they're, because that don't make sense. That's what I would say he should say that at least instead of going up everybody's spot, because he's at that place where sometimes you need that comparison of the bad player to mention, and that's where he is. Yeah. So, but if they're going that far, he should at least say what Crystal said.
Yeah, he's trying, but he's just doing it savage.
Yeah, I was about to say, Crystal said it more eloquently, and like Kwame Brown, and he got a country accent. He's from South Carolina, so it's just, if you ever heard a country dude curse people out, it's like whoa, it's like everything is just it's not proper, but you understand how he's feeling. Like, let's just say that.
Well,
you feel it.
Yeah, you definitely feel it.
So it's like, right? I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine for 20 years, every single day, without fail, somebody smacked you upside the head, and you did absolutely nothing about it. But that last smack is when you finally snap.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. And I understand, because I was actually kind of in a similar situation where like it'll just be dudes just talking shit, and like you try to pay no mind to it. You know what I'm saying? You try to like do your own thing, and you busy doing what you're doing. But these people will literally not stop. You're in the butt of every joke. Like they legitimately see you as someone who's kind of like less than. They're not saying it explicitly, but that's like the tone that's coming across. And they're saying they've been saying this shit for 20 years. So my man is like, you know what? All right, now it's time. Now I'm about to put these motherfuckers in their place. So this is the result of 20 years of holding it in, and now is releasing like Super Saiyan. It's like, okay,
that's a long build up, yo.
Now I want all the smoke. I got time today.
Yeah.
I came to retaliate.
He just put business. Everybody, not everybody on the on the team, but anybody that mentions his name, I saw him on YouTube come for them like he had no fucking filter, like none. And you could
None
tell
at all.
speaking, he had a buildup of anger. And he and how y'all talk about y'all want this smoke, but yet y'all don't invite me to any of the parties. So y'all want some of the smoke, but I want all of the smoke. I was like,
Damn.
I'm sorry. I'm just rewinding what he was saying in the YouTube on the YouTube. It was kind of funny.
It's fine. So, obviously I've been watching basketball all my life. So and me being from Maryland, I already knew who Kwame Brown is. I used to watch his games when the Wizards are on TV. I'm a Bulls fan, but Jordan was on the Wizards, so as me being a big Jordan fan, of course I was gonna watch a Wizards game. And I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't that good. It's just like he was okay, but he wasn't that good, and he didn't live up to the number one overall draft pick. And Jordan used to, I'm not gonna lie, the stories used to hear about Jordan and how he used to get on his players, like, be mindful. I understand, like, Kwame, when he was with Jordan, he was like 17. And if you know Jordan, he used to get on his players hard, like drill sergeant hard. Like,
Yeah, I heard stories.
understand. For a 17-year-old person, like, some people, that's like a culture shock to them, because, you don't expect people to talk to you like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can understand, like, even I went to the military when I was 20, and, like, even though I expected it, still hearing that, the way some of the petty officers was talking, it was a culture shock. It's just like, and I couldn't sit there, and I just had to sit there and eat that. So I do understand that, and even to a point where I understand where he's coming from, because there was a point in high school where, people used to pick on me until I fought back, and then, people stopped. So I understand where he was coming from, and I'm keeping this basketball because this is just basketball.
Right.
I feel like if he, like, the way he was talking all that savagery on, Matt Barnes and them, I wish I would have saw that on the court. and this, like I said, from a basketball standpoint, I wish I saw this on the court, because that man is like 6'11", 270, or like he's a legit 7-footer, and like most people, and back then, like, or at least in there, like, if you 7 foot, you basically a sure shot to hit the NBA. And he, like I said, he coming out of high school, that means you was taking over not just other high school ball players, but people that went to college for 4 years and all that other stuff. So, like, from a basketball point, I feel like the reason they're talking about this, because they seen what they seen on the court. Like, no one's attacking them personally. Like, anytime when I hear people mention Kwame Brown, they talk about his basketball skills. Like, I don't mind Kwame Brown going at people, but the personal stuff I feel like is a bit too much, just because I feel like they didn't attack you personally. But
Right.
I do understand, because once you're angry, like, everybody can get it. When you're that angry, you're that type of, like, pissed off, anybody can get it. Like, anybody that mentions your name, I've seen it before where people just snap and just blow up, and like anybody close to them, they getting hit. So I feel for him, but at the same time, I don't feel for him, because I used to tell people, if the only person that can change the narrative is yourself. So if people seeing that you're not working, and you're showing them you're not working, that's what they're going to look at you. But if you go out there and bust your ass and you be a hard worker, people going to look at you as a hard worker. There are always going to be people that don't like you, but you don't have to worry about them. All you got to worry about, if the people see you work hard, then they're going to see you as a hard worker. So to me, I look at it as, like, I feel for you, and I understand, like, being a butter jump for 20 years, that can be exhausting. Just like I used to say, like, I used to explain to my sister, like, why Gary Coleman used to go off on people every time they see him, and it's just like, do what you talk about Willis again. Do what you talk about Willis. It gets tiring. And, like, for them, that's the first time hearing it. But for you, I probably done said this to like 100 other people. Like, I'm tired. It's like I'm tired. I don't want to hear this no more.
You want to
Right.
know what that remind me of, Ray? When
Go ahead.
Chadwick Boseman used to get tired of doing the Wakanda symbol.
I was just
Oh
thinking
yeah.
about that. I was
Yo,
just
my
thinking
man went
about
His
from
that
face
Wakanda
started
myself.
forever to
changing,
Wakanda
yo.
sometimes.
His face started changing, yo. That smile just went away after a while.
It went away. I was like, damn.
Yo.
It vanished.
But
It
Ray,
didn't just gradually die off. It just vanished.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It went from Wakanda forever to Wakanda sometimes.
Yo.
When
Wakanda
it's like
occasionally.
Wakanda feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of shit is this?
He's like, yo, ask Wonder Woman, yo. She does the same thing. Leave me alone.
What was you about to say,
Jeez.
Crystal?
oh, I was gonna say that yeah, I feel like he was attacking all of the people that had something to say about him because it was a attack. To the YouTube, he'll mention certain things like how some people would talk to the manager to make sure that he's benched and stuff. I do think his perspective on the matter to attack them kind of is not justified. I just feel like he's just emotional. And 20 years of buildup is a really long time. But like you were saying, like you gotta to not be victimized. When you know you can do better and you don't do better, then you have to deal with the consequences. But at the same time, it's kind of like, he has been attacked personally off camera. We didn't see it behind the scenes, but he does mention a little bit of that. But I think that the way he
I
handled
believe it.
it wrong.
I wholeheartedly believe it.
Right.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I do agree. It's just he just went savage on
But like I said, I feel for him, but at the same time, I don't feel for him. From a
Right.
basketball, like from a human being, I feel for him, but from a basketball person, I don't.
Right.
So
Good, because if you want it, then get it. Practice. Do what you got to do. Find out your flaws and go from there. Just don't attack people.
I got here at the right time.
Oh shit.
Cuterie's God.
Oh yeah.
Nigga.
Boy,
Hola.
Are we talking about
Kwame Brown. You know I held this topic last just to see your ass come in.
Oh, okay.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. This is
Oh,
yeah.
by the way, Q, we got some new people. Say hi to D Wolf and say hi to Crystal.
Yo, D Wolf. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, what's up?
Okay.
But go ahead, Q.
Ah man. Ooh, I was waiting for this one. First of all, let's just go on the basketball perspective. Technically he was a bust. Technically he didn't fulfill his potential, but he's not the only number one overall draft pick to do it. He's not the only one that gets criticized.
Anthony Bennett is getting it now.
Yeah, I'm about to say Anthony Bennett is getting it. Markelle Fultz is getting it. What's his name? Michael Carter Williams is getting it. I can name a bunch of. Let's talk about the guy Sam Bowie who got drafted right before Jordan and how much he has to deal with. Like, get over it. You're a basketball player. You got paid millions. I feel like when a person does his job, Stephen A. Smith gets paid to do this. This is his profession. I feel like the sensitivity is unnecessary. Like, I hate when Kevin Durant does this. I hate when Kyrie does this. I hate when anybody really gets in it. Like, I would understand if somebody says something blasphemous and it's disrespectful and it's inaccurate, but nothing that Stephen A. Smith said is inaccurate. I watched the podcast when Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson were talking about him. Nothing they said were inaccurate. Some of the things they said they could have held to themselves, but I mean, in all reality, if you know Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, they talk and they say what they want, how they want, when they want, and etc. And it goes the same thing for Stephen A. Smith. I feel like when you know the personnel and you know the people saying the things, you should get used to it. I mean, you were a bust. You can't be mad at it. I mean, I just feel like it's you can't be upset. Like you have to live with it and try to be better, like, but you don't go on the rant talking about you want to fight Stephen A. Smith. Who wants to fight Stephen A. Smith? Like,
A lot of
why?
people.
For what? Like, why? What is that going to prove? You putting your hands on Stephen A. Smith only proves that what he said was right. Like, it doesn't matter what you say. History is done. You played your years with the Wizards. You played your years with the Lakers. You had your run. You played 12 years in a career. I mean, you had a 12-year career, which a lot of players who aren't as great aren't able to say that. So you played 12 years. You got paid. Get over it. You're mad 20 years from now about you not fulfilling whatever promise you felt like you had. You saying you were a 17-year-old kid that came out of high school. Kobe was, LeBron was, and they're both superstars. So, I mean, all the excuses that he's making on why he didn't succeed, it doesn't make sense to me, because everything that you said, Kevin Garnett, everybody that you're saying that, I mean, everything that you're saying, I can name another person who did the same thing. Tracy McGrady. He didn't even play that much. He didn't even play as many years as Kwame Brown did, but he came out of high school. Everybody was young, and they figured it out. They worked on their craft. They got better. It's about determination. All these people are saying you weren't determined enough to try to be better. I mean,
okay. Q, I'm gonna ask you this, because a lot of people said like him being in Jordan was, and you know how Jordan was to his players was like basically what fucked him up. Do you believe that Jordan kind of like fucked up his career?
I don't think Jordan fucked up his career. I think Jordan fucked up his psyche. I think Jordan fucked up his confidence, but his career, I don't think. I feel like there are two type of players emotionally in the game. There are players who take in the criticism and show up, and there are players who aren't good with the criticism, and you have to kind of pat them on the back, and you'll probably get good results out of that. Example, people criticize Steph Curry, but he doesn't really talk about it as much. He doesn't really complain about it as much. He just goes out and just drops 30. And then you got Kevin Durant who can't seem to shake anybody saying anything, who also has a burner account just to be able to fire back at people that say stuff about Kevin. Like it's two different types of superstars. So in that aspect, I mean, I can say Jordan kind of tainted him, and then he went from Jordan to Kobe, so that kind of wasn't no better. But I mean, what do you expect at this point? Like, I mean, I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, a lot of players walk in and out of Kobe's locker room that weren't strong enough to deal with Shaq. Kobe told Shaq, you were lazy. If you weren't lazy, we would have won 10 championships. And this is Shaquille O'Neal we're talking about. So, I mean, like, everybody gets criticized. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, everybody gets criticized, and everybody's like, I just don't understand what's his issue. It's 20 years from now. Matt Barnes hasn't made up to his potential. I mean, there's plenty of players that didn't do it.
Matt Barnes wasn't first overall either.
Hey, yeah,
Steve Jackson said the same thing. He's like, I was the second to the last pick. It's like I'm the first
you were
overall.
the first overall pick. Number one, you were the first. I mean, they did everything in their power to make sure they got you. So there is a cloud that follows you when you are a number one overall pick in the league. It happens. Zion Williamson is dealing with it now. It's a cloud. It LaMelo Ball. You just have people who live up to the hype, and you have ones who don't. Kwame Brown, you were one of those people who didn't live up to being a number one overall draft pick. I'm sorry. It happens. Get over it. People are going to talk about you because, I mean, they're saying that you could have been so much better than what you were, but you just didn't meet what you could have been. So I just don't like sensitive basketball players. I don't like sensitive athletes, period.
But you know what, Cutie, you brought up an important message here. You said that his psyche was attacked, right?
Yeah.
And previously we was just talking about people's mental health. Now, I am going to bring in the fact that he's a black man and he has other black men bringing him down in a sport, in a game that's sports. You're supposed to be mentally strong in any sports where you're not only representing a team, but you're representing your ethnic group. So I really think that he just can't handle it anymore. Or if he was handling it, I'm kind of curious to know what made him go off the way that he went off on YouTube.
It was initially because Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I forgot initially what the conversation were, but they brought him up and they brought up his career, and like really, he has been like a meme in the NBA world for years. Like it's ridiculous, like how bad. But it's not. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not his fault, but it comes with the territory. Like
right.
So I just feel like when you have the opportunity that you have and you're a number one overall pick, you're the first person. You have high school and college basketball players. You got players who played in college, played 2-3 college years, got championships under their belt. You know what I'm saying? Have credentials. They have numbers behind them. You've seen the proof that they can play in a higher level. And out of all those people, we choose a 17-year-old kid from high school. That comes with so much potential. Like, you knew what you were getting into when you entered the draft. You knew the hype that was around you before you entered the draft. That entire year, you had it in your mind that you wanted to go to the NBA. Well, you probably didn't have it, but by the end of the year, you knew you wanted to go straight to the NBA. So you had it in your mind that this is what I want to do, and no matter what, I have to be able to push myself to be better. Kobe didn't start his first few years. He didn't start. Period. Wow. Like, he didn't start. He wasn't even the man. It wasn't even his team. Kobe got in the gym and worked every day, nonstop. People told him he wasn't going to be as great as he was. He wasn't the number one overall pick, and that kind of it put a fire up under him. And some people, it's just a certain fire. And when you don't get it up under you, I feel like Kwame Brown needed to be pampered, not antagonized. Because
you know what I said, and I know he came from a dirt poor family. I said he should have went to college.
He should have went to college.
And this was the talk. And I understand, like, some people, they just don't have money, so going to college, you get the money, you get to take care of your family like you want to do. But I do feel like there are some players that you kind of like need college, someone to guide you, because like Q and I said, Jordan, not he's a drill sergeant when it comes to like pushing his players, and Kobe ain't no better because Kobe's just like Jordan. So it might have messed up his mental psyche, but I've always said, like, he went to other teams, especially Memphis, and I'm pretty sure, in the back of my head, it's like, I'm pretty sure someone had a little talk to him. Maybe by then he probably had in his head he's not that great. Like, I just looked up his stats. He averaged like 6 points and like 5 rebounds for his career.
And you're 7 feet tall. You're 7 feet tall.
I said, if you're 7 feet tall and you're basically a walking lottery ticket.
Ma'am, let me explain. Crystal, let me explain. You're 7 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
You automatically should be able to grab rebound. And this is the kicker. It wasn't like people weren't starting him or giving minutes. He was a starter everywhere. Because he was 7 feet tall and he still couldn't get the job done. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand where. Come on, Darko Milicic got picked before Carmelo Anthony. Are you serious?
I'm a woman, so it's my nurturing side that's kind of like,
it happens.
More like, but what about this? What about that? And y'all like, nah. He knew what he was getting into.
This is like a mom and dad trying to discipline their kid at the same time. No. He knew what he did.
With all that money, I really think that he should have gotten mentally evaluated. At the end of the day, I think that he let his own self get in the way of him being successful, and he was looking at everyone else instead of himself. So now, when you put a lion up in a corner and they fight back. If you put somebody up, their back against the wall, they're gonna fight back, and he feels like his back is against the wall. And then the way that he's displaying his manhood is not the way that he should. But yeah, you're right. You're dealing with business. It's kind of like suck it up, make your money, and get better at trying to make more money.
I'm not, and I'm not even in the sense of shut up and play, because I believe everybody should have a say so on what they do. You're an entertainer at the end of the day. You're risking your health, your life, your mental, your physical. You're putting all this at risk to entertain people around the world. Exactly. I do believe you do deserve. Every athlete deserves a decision. Being able to make decisions, being able to speak out on certain situations. I do feel like that. But there comes a time where men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. I'm sorry, they don't. You give me a star. You give me a starting position. You give me a starting position. Most likely, you're paying me $10 million when I don't deserve it. I'm gonna try my best. The last thing somebody's gonna say is I didn't try. I didn't put forth the effort to get better. I didn't work on my craft. He didn't even try to work on his craft. You got people like Greg Oden who were, how do you say it? He was plagued with injuries. He could have been
injury
great,
prone.
Yeah, basically. He had bad knees. He was heavy, but he was great. He had footwork, postman. You can tell he had skill. Somebody taught him. He tried. He went to college. He went to college. Plankton went to college. You should go too.
You sound like a commercial. I'm gonna need you to stop swearing.
Hey, what are you doing? You ain't doing nothing but sitting on the couch, watching your life pass you by.
Oh my God, that commercial.
Come to Everest.
Hey, why you making this so hard? It's easy.
I almost turned my hat to the side and started like, what are you doing? You're sitting on the couch. Hey, am I the only person that always felt bad about what he was saying? Like, I felt like he was talking to me. Like,
nah, that nigga was talking to all of us.
Like, what are you doing? What my mother.
I was 13. I was 13. It was like, I don't know.
Like, what are you doing? What my mom told me to. You ain't doing nothing. You're sitting in front of the couch doing nothing. I'm not supposed to do nothing. That's how that is.
Nah, bro, I gave a fuck. Shit, that hurt.
Oh yeah, Q.
I didn't give a fuck. College ain't for everybody.
Hey, yo, Q. I don't know if you heard this, and tell me if you heard this or not. But I think when they was in a playoff game or something like that, or there was a game where like Kwame Brown wasn't there, and they said he was sick, and then come to find out they found him at a Chinese restaurant eating or some shit like that, and like they was pissed off at him.
All right, see, let me tell you why I like stuff like that irritates me. Lemon Pepper Lou went to the strip club just to get wings, but still
break it up, Q.
Oh, hold on. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, Lemon Pepper Lou went to the strip club the day before a game to get wings, but he made sure he was there for the game the next day. How are you eating Chinese food in a play? You in a playoff? There's people who don't even get to see the playoffs. Never get to see the playoffs. Devin Booker is just getting to the playoffs. You in the playoffs, and you're out eating Chinese food. It's a game going on. I think they probably sent him home because he was garbage, and just listed him as sick.
And like I said, we was watching I was watching them Wizards games, and like I said, he wasn't that good. He was not that good.
Put it this way: Kwame Brown is equivalent to finding out Ashley Simpson lip something.
Oh, Saturday Night Live.
Exactly. It's like, damn, we had so much hope for you, and you just threw it all away.
Damn.
That's one of my.
Now you sound like Tyra Banks. Now you sound like Tyra Banks when she was going off on that one model. We rooting for you. We all rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you. No, Kwame Brown, man, it's just I just feel like just suck it up, deal with it, take your money, do something positive with it, and better yourself so that the next number one draft pick doesn't go through what you went through. Like, you should use your thing as an experience and stop making yourself feel like a victim. Like, everybody has their own experiences with the NBA. And because you felt like you were supposed to be an all-time great and you didn't live up to the hype and everybody reminds you, they're using your career as an example on what not to do. I mean, you should do that to help other kids. Why not take your negative and create a positive so that your negative doesn't, it doesn't happen again?
I already read his body language and the words coming out of his mouth. He's in his own way. This is not to make an excuse for him. I just really think that he needs to get
help
evaluated for himself, because I don't see how someone can get $1 million or $10 million or however much money he got paid, and he doesn't have multiple businesses. He's not helping the community he came from. Nothing that I've seen. If he has done that, I take it back. But at the end of the day, he's just not getting out of the way.
I think basketball players that go through what he went through, they're adored so much at one point. Mm-hmm. And to see it all crashing down in a mere matter of years, and then to go from being this beloved kid in high school and in your town, and the world just thought you were the next big thing, and then now you're just an enigma. You're an adjective for, you are an example for what not to do. And it's almost like Ryan Leaf, Tim Tebow. Like, it's like what
Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus freaking Russell.
Tim Tebow. Hold on. Tim Tebow, though, that wasn't his fault. That was the league.
Okay, I understand that. All right. Let me switch it. Vince Young.
Okay.
Man, we just talked about he had mental problems.
Yeah,
Vince Young had mental problems.
All right, okay, I'll leave him alone. But all right, we just gonna leave it at Jamarcus freaking Russell.
You can mention him. My man was
what does Stephen A. call him? A fat slob. Because he was supposed to be a quarterback and he ended up being 300 pounds and he didn't even just terrible. This is a profession. I think I would criticize Stephen A. Smith if he was a terrible analyst. So I feel like he should be able to criticize a basketball player if they're not living up to the potential that they carry, if they're not holding their weight, if they're not showing any type of promise or any type of drive to want to be better than what you are.
Right.
Period, point blank. I feel like Kobe was able to criticize Shaq, and we see the hierarchy they are. We love Shaq and we loved Kobe, so it's like, for Kobe to be able to say, hey, you need to humble yourself. We could have won more, but you just didn't want to work. And I was working. That's why we didn't get along. Stuff like that. I feel like if Kwame Brown really needs to, if he really wants to help himself, he really needs to find a way to find peace within himself and then address the situation in a correct manner. Talk to Jordan. Be a participant to one of his camps or something. Talk to one of his, do something. There are other ways to try to.
It sounds like he needs to just step down from basketball
down and becoming the victim and becoming the enemy, because you're already the enemy. Then you're not good. It's not going to work. You can't be trash and be the enemy.
True.
It sounds like he needs to just step down. Just stop playing.
He's been retired since like 2013. He's been retired.
I just don't understand. Like, all right, for instance, Kendrick Perkins ain't that good. Kendrick Perkins wasn't that good. He wasn't that good as a basketball player, but he understands that. He understands there are levels to these things, and he humbles himself and he uses what he's learned in his career, and he become an analyst. Granted, he country as hell, but he's a great analyst and he's smart and he understands basketball. Those are things like those are opportunities that, like, those are ways to still be a part of something without trying to bash everything down because you're not a part of it in your mind. You think you're not a part of the NBA family. You took yourself out of it. You excluded yourself while you were in the league and even after you were in the league. So what makes you think that, like, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, come on. What makes you think you're going to get sympathy when you weren't even buddy and trying to, like, no. Like, it's called living up to your potential, or just understanding that, you just weren't what the hell people thought you were, and you can use it. Help the next man. Don't bash the next man. Work with Steven Jackson and them. Talk to him.
Also,
get on their
my bad. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, join their podcast, have a conversation with them, hit a blunt with them, because that's all they do. That's all the fuck they do. These ex-basketball players get high. Like, this is ridiculous. And they got ESPN jobs. How?
I also want to say this. I don't think he should have wanted Jamel Hill like that. Like, what did she do to you? Like,
why are you addressing Stephen A. Smith was saying your name years ago. He doesn't even mention your name anymore. You should have addressed it when the problem was on the surface. Don't address it when it died down and he doesn't even talk about you no more. I haven't heard him say Kwame Brown in so long.
Wow.
I heard him say stop smoking weed more than I've heard Kwame Brown.
You have a point there. Shoot. He even went at Charlamagne too, because he brought up Charlamagne's like rape cases that like Charlamagne beat, and I was like, oh, my man going personal. But then again, Charlamagne talked about his father and his brothers and all that other stuff, so I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I kind of.
But any last words before we move on to our final thoughts?
Talk shit.
What was his strengths?
He always had good
to begin with.
He always had good cornrows. That was
You said what?
And the opinion is that he was drafted because of his height.
He was 6'11", 270. So, okay. Or you could say he's a 7-footer. Like around that in that draft. So I would say this in the draft, because I don't know how well you follow basketball. Wasn't that big of a draft, but the people that came out at the same time, it was him, Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry, and I forgot other people that came out in that draft. So
it initially really wasn't a great draft. The best,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this was a bad business move.
The best.
The blame goes to the NBA here.
Tyson Chandler had a good career that came out, and Eddie Curry, he didn't turn bad till he left the Bulls. So
I just feel like
it feels like it was a bad business move here. It's like this is basically the NBA's fault here. He just got gassed up because he was in the NBA, and then he just started hearing shit about his game, and then it just snowballed from there.
This is a whole nother Johnny Manziel situation. Like, you had hype, you didn't live up to it, leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Get over it, move on. It happens. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. And right now, he's kicking while he's dying. And it's just, I just feel like, oh my God, I'm a basketball player. This is a love I have.
Okay, so, all right. Here's the name that came out in that 2001 draft class, and like I'm pretty sure some of y'all will know these names: Kwame Brown, Tyson Chandler, Paul Gasol, Eddie Curry, Jason Richardson, Shane Battier, Joe Johnson, Richard Jefferson, Jason Collins, the first gay basketball player, Brendan Haywood.
You're literally naming everybody. I mean, from the side of Jason Collins, but you're literally naming everybody better than Kwame Brown right now.
Tony Parker,
better.
Gilbert Arenas, he came out that same draft.
God Almighty, they should have drafted Gilbert.
And that's about it about the names you would know. Jamal Tinsley,
I just named
Gerald Wallace,
3 champions: Tony Parker, Tyson Chandler, Paul Gasol,
and Shane Battier.
Like, get over it. You didn't do it. You were in that
You
draft. Shane
knew it.
Battier, Shane Battier won a championship at Duke that year.
Oh yeah, and he was a dog in Duke.
This is what I'm
He was a
saying.
dog in Duke.
He was like, this is what I'm saying. You got drafted over these elite basketball players. There's a hype behind it. You either live up to it or you just crumble and burn.
All right, now on to our final thoughts. Now, D Wolf, obviously, Crystals, you know what it is, but D Wolf, in our final thoughts, you could basically say anything. Maybe that's whatever is on your mind before you leave. So, we're going to start with you, D Wolf, since you're new. You have any final thoughts?
Well, in general, just say anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just take this opportunity to basically advertise myself, I guess.
Ahead,
I'm D Wolf. I'm glad to be here, man. This was a great discussion, man. Crystal was right. It is fun. Hope to be here every Thursday. You can find me on Simon Sire on IG, and also Duo Sao, DUOSAO on Twitter, and D Wolf on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for having me, man. This is fun.
Thanks for being here. Kristen, what's on you?
All right, so I'm gonna say a quote from Malcolm X. We need more light about each other. Light creates understanding. Understanding creates love. Love creates patience, and patience creates unity.
Love it.
Dope.
I like that. Dion is on you.
All right, have my mic muted. Okay, so I want to bring up something that we discussed. Not even discussed, just kind of briefly had a convo about what was it, earlier in the week, a couple of days ago or whatever. I believe it had something to do with something fucking what's his face, Kevin Samuels came out of his mouth and
High
said.
value man shit.
Yeah, so actually, now that we have Crystal here, and I was hoping to get a second answer to this question from Mia, but she dropped out of the convo for whatever reason. So, Crystal,
Yeah.
leaving money out of the equation, completely excluding money from the equation,
Right.
because it's been proven that there are dudes with mad paper who just ain't shit.
Right.
What makes a high value man? I want a woman's answer to this question.
All right. So, in my opinion, what makes a man high value in my eyes is a man that's willing, no matter what financial aspect he is, but we're taking that out. So, say for instance, a man that can come into my life and show me how to do things better. So, for instance, if I'm working a job and I need to get my degree, and he sees that I need to get my degree, but right now I ain't thinking about the degree, I'm thinking about making money and paying my bills. That man would be high value to me if he can show me how to pace myself between getting a degree that's going to pay me more money and building a business from that, and showing me in the order in which to do that. Investing in me. That's what makes, in my eyes, a high value man.
I can dig it.
No, because a lot of women, they think it's the money. A man can have all the money he wants. That means that if he's not investing in you, he's just paying for a trophy wife. And
Oh my God. People need to hear that.
and vice versa. If the woman is coming to the man and expecting him to pay for her meals, pay for this, pay for that, that's all nice and dandy. Do it every once in a while. But what is going to happen if he doesn't build a business and she's just there in la la land? How is she going to support him in running that business that he built all by himself without her help? Then she's not valuable to him. They're not valuable to each other. So money has no part to play. Money comes and go, but the support and loyalty, that I have yet to see that constant in people's relationship.
And if a guy sees that support, like, and he's lacking it, he's gonna look because, and if he truly loves her, because about, if he wants to be with her, he wants to build a future with her, he's gonna see his failure and try to correct it, and especially if she's on his side.
Patience, man.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes from patience. The man has to be patient enough. It's just all about understanding. I don't know everything. When two people come together, it's really, I don't know everything, but I want to figure it out with you. That's it. Like,
it's a partnership.
That's all it is. I'm agreeing to figure this life thing out with you. And if I don't figure it out, I'd rather be crazy in this world with you than be. It's weird, but it's real. That shit is real.
Yeah. But what I tell my boy cousins and my nephews, I said, when you meet a girl got a little bit of change, I want you to tell them, man, I only got $1. You need to see how this woman reacts to you only having $1 to get a burger at McDonald's, and see if she's going to be sympathetic or if she's going to add to your dollar. It's very important to see that aspect of her, because when you're in a relationship, it's all fine and dandy in the beginning, but when y'all struggling to make $1 million or to build together, shit can hit the fan. You need to know that person's not going to be like, oh, it was nice to know you and be out, because then that means your foundations was never strong to begin with. So when it comes to value, they have to input in me, and I have to do the same, and even extreme.
I feel like I should have a pen and pad right now. Like, damn, the science.
But it's even just piggybacking off of what she said, with that same dollar, and just let's just say there's only $1 between them two, and she's just like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. In the man, just my mind, in a man's perspective, his first thing should be like, all right, well, I got $1, and she looks hungry, I look hungry. Well, I'm gonna just give it to her. It's a gesture. It's just showing like I can't move unless you're okay.
Correct.
I can't, it's like if you're okay, I know I can figure it out because you got my back. As long as the person who's like my teammate is fine and I can figure it out. It's just, oh man, it gets real deep, but it's really just hand in hand. It's just help me help you, help us.
Right. And I've heard a lot of stories from women that, I've lost female friends because of me not holding back my thoughts on how they're treating their man. You can't be submissive when you don't know your role in the relationship. So if he's saying, hey, I live by my mom, and you talking so horrible about him to me, and I don't even know the man, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off right there and then, because you know what? He was brave enough to tell you his living situation. Now, what you got to do is see what you can do and collaborate with him so y'all both can be in a situation together in one house. You don't know his situation, so don't come to me talking about his manhood. You're introducing him to me, and I know he lives by his mom, but he didn't tell me. That didn't come out of his mouth. So I already know that you do not have his best interest mentally to be his wife.
So I hear what everyone is saying. And Dion, I told you this before. Like, a high value man is someone that has, like, he values himself. Like, you have to have worth within yourself. I don't care if I'm living with my mom and I only got $20 to my name. When I walk in a room, you will show me respect because I value myself.
Exactly.
That's a high value man. A high value man don't care how much money you got. He don't care how many assets you own, because all of that shit can disappear. This is a world. It's a dog eat dog world. Your shit can get taken and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. But the difference between $1 million man and a high value man is that the $1 million man, his $1 million is what he feels like his $1 million is what makes him high value. But like when I walk in a room and everybody show me love, everybody show me respect, everybody like whenever people think about me, there's a positive, thought. You know what I'm saying? Like people wish good on me, people wish me good fortunes. Whenever people give me gifts and shit like that, that's a high value motherfucker. Because you don't have to think about anything. People just show him love. Like when you do something or like when you are in the presence of people, you are there to serve. Like that's the
Right.
whole point of a business. That's the whole point of doing something that people will consider you high value in the first place. You are there to serve no matter what it is. So if people see that in you and they attribute you to success and goodness and somebody people can come to, maybe it don't even have to be like $1 million proposal. Somebody can just want to talk to you and hear your voice, and maybe your voice gives them peace of mind. That is high value.
Right.
Right. I never disagreed with anything you said. Like I said, I was just curious as to like a woman's response to that question.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Uh,
people
And I
got it.
didn't want to just ask anybody that, you know?
People got it mixed up, and it's so disgusting to me because like there's so much emphasis on how much a person make, and then all of a sudden you realize why people are so miserable. It's like, okay, he got all this money, but you still miserable, so you got it wrong. So now that you got it wrong, it's time to change your thinking.
And I contribute the reason why, and I might get ridiculed for saying this, but a lot of men with money, they give the money to the wrong type of women. They give them the money to the women that act like queens, but don't even know how to build a kingdom for her damn self or to maintain it. So when you're given money or showing that you have a lot of money to a woman who's still really a little girl, what do you expect her to do when you no longer could give her money, or when you
Didn't
haven't?
that just happen to somebody? Was it Nas or something? I saw it's like a meme or something like that. It was like I think it happened to Nas.
Oh,
Like
girlfriend
she just spent up all the money that he was paying her
for child
after
support.
the divorce. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're
Yeah,
using it
Cause
for
he's
that.
got it
Yeah.
bad.
that was a case
Yeah,
from
cause
like
he's got it
that was a
bad.
situation from a few years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the closest things to that is probably Quavo and Saweetie because he got her a Birkin.
and when are we gonna? All right, I'm not gonna laugh at the name. I'm such a kid at times. But anyway, I'm just saying that a lot of men with money, they give money to the wrong women. They give it to the little girls that cannot replicate that money, and then wonder what happened. Why are they broke, or why are they being dragged through court for child support? Because you picked a peasant over a queen. You don't know the difference, so you're not
That,
true king.
that's probably because he a peasant himself. Birds of a feather flock together.
That is true. That is true.
Because like I've been in situations where like there'll be a girl, I'll be like, oh, okay, she looks cool. And then she'll open her mouth and then she'll say something. I'm like, I'm disinterested. I'm going this way.
Man.
All I'm
That's happened. That's happened a lot lately.
Man.
Yeah, I'm from a different cloth. I'm from the 90s, so I don't really look at money as the basis to look at a man as what his value is.
Good talk.
Is that it, Dion?
Yeah.
All right. Q is on you.
Okay. I could drop dead tomorrow. The truth will be here. Truth is forever. When you read our history, truth is forever. It will always out itself. Paul Mooney said that. Rest in peace to a GOAT. Oh man, Paul Mooney was great. Paul Mooney was funny, and he always stuck to the plan. He always understood the assignment. I don't know why that's a trending phrase now, but he was somebody who understood the assignment, whether it was on stage, on a TV show, in a movie, just general public. Paul Mooney was a strong Black person who stood for our Black people. So I wanted to first off say rest in peace to Paul Mooney. Second of all, I want to apologize for being late. I was driving. I can't drive and talk at the same time. Care about my life.
Safety.
Safety first.
Shout out to Rey Mysterio and his son for winning a fluke ass championship, which was pretty good. So, you know, I'm not gonna harass them too much today. But yeah. And then shout out to J. Cole for having
let the father and son have that. Man.
And then shout out to J. Cole for having the best album of 2021.
I still to listen to his album. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have yet to watch that.
I gotta watch the documentary. I still haven't watched that either. But,
you giving it the best album, dog?
Yeah, so far.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything. Better. I haven't heard anybody drop anything better. I say 21 Savage album came out last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't even put.
He apparently has a new one coming up sometime soon.
Yeah. See, and J. Cole's album now gave me the same feel 21 Savage's album did. It was just like, I've been waiting so long for this, and it was worth the wait. Thank you.
J. Cole be teasing us. I don't want to hear him.
Oh yeah, he does. He's an ass white. He's the ultimate ass white, but at least he's not somebody who just like drops an album and then disappears for like 10 years. Kendrick.
I heard.
Hey, yo, leave my man's alone. Leave my man's alone.
It's still a war, Ray. I don't give a damn. It's still a war, man. He ain't showed up yet. You know what I'm saying? He ain't showed up yet. Yeah. Shout out to Jason Tatum for dropping 50 for me.
Oh, you know I was going to get on you if they lost that game.
Like I said, shout out to Jason Tatum for dropping 50. We're not even talking about if they lost because we didn't lose. He dropped 50.
They beat the Pacers though.
They beat the Pacers tonight. And then shout out to Steph Curry. Because you know, people talk bad about him. You know, they talk about he gonna lose it. He light skinned, he soft, he a system player. You know. And he was averaging 32 with me and Ray playing on the starting lineup. Like, because that's how bad his team is. Like, it's me, Ray, and Dion. And Father's coming off the bench. Crystal's the coach. It's bad over there.
Stop that shit.
But you know,
my God.
You know, the league still loves LeBron because they just. Oh, did you see how he was just Brad Pitting it yesterday?
Yeah. That was a lucky shot. That was a lucky shot.
No, I'm talking about apparently getting poked in the face by Draymond. Why does Draymond always do something to LeBron? Or one of LeBron's
because Draymond is from the 90s. I don't care what anybody say.
Draymond drank sugar water when all his Kool-Aid gone. And he's a millionaire. And he still does it. I just believe Draymond. Draymond still call his mother on Sundays because he know better. So yeah, you know, he's a real one. And yeah, but last not least, my father's birthday is this weekend. So happy birthday, Dad. I don't know if you're gonna listen this week. But happy birthday to you, old man. I'm sick of you. Like, it's just that simple. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you calling me, asking me anything. I'm tired of LeBron. I'm tired. I'm glad to be on the podcast with y'all. Yeah. Celtics in 6.
Yeah.
Boston in 6.
All right. Father is on you.
All right. I'm going to be super quick. And I just have a mini rant. But people who drive that don't fucking signal when they switch lanes, but all burn in hell. I am.
Oh my God,
I'm fucking tired.
Crystal, what do I say?
Hey,
What do I
Wayne,
say?
from now on, you gotta let him go first. You
My
gotta
God.
let him go first.
Please
Nigga.
continue,
He
please.
gives me something every week. Every
Oh,
week, he
Please
brings-
continue.
Yeah,
Bruh.
I'm loving this.
And it always
No.
be motherfuckers that look like they're not supposed to be on the damn road. There's always an old ass motherfucker, or it's somebody that look at you with the deer in headlights when you pass through them like they ain't do something that almost caused a motherfucking accident. Stupid ass motherfucker. I hate y'all.
Hey,
Oh
not
no!
to cut
If
you
he's
off,
gonna drop a gem every time, you gotta say the
not
best for
to
last.
cut you off.
Looking
Not to
forward
cut
to that.
Not to cut y'all off. I was literally just in an Uber with an African driver who did not use his signals.
Oh.
Like, no offense. Hey, Father, I love you, but look.
You know I'm hard on my people all the
Hey,
time.
I'm about to say, look, y'all can't drive. Well, I'm not gonna say y'all because I'm pretty sure you know people who can drive. But look, I'm sick of it. Okay, I'm sick of old people and I'm sick of foreign people.
Them be the main ones.
Old people and foreign people who don't know how to drive, who don't know how to
I'm
get out
sick
the
of it.
way, who turn their hazards on for nothing.
But I just
Yo,
that you will not.
Can I add to that? Can I add to the whole thing about freaking bad drivers?
I ain't hear what she said. Can you say that again?
That I felt personally attacked because I don't put my signals on.
Oh yeah.
The worst- the worst-
you. We're talking
the
about
worst part
I don't
is-
care.
sorry, go ahead.
I'm about to say, be attacked. I'm attacking you. You.
Yeah.
You. It's you. You are one.
Yo, the worst part is they wouldn't put on the signal to switch lanes, but when they get to when you get the lanes that's painted that you can turn,
Yeah.
they wait till they reach that lane to turn it on.
To turn that signal on.
So you don't need to put it on when you reach that point because we all know you have to turn at that point. That just makes it even angrier that they didn't use it to begin with.
No. Here's
And it
the
already
cake.
cut you off.
Here's what cakes the cake. We are at a light, and it is not a no turn on red sign.
Mm-hmm.
You plan on turning right. You
In the lane you
never
read, you have
turn
no
right,
choice
but
but
when
to
the
turn.
light turn green, you turn your signal on, turn right. I swear to
Right.
God, I want to
What is
flatten your
this?
tires.
Let
I want to
me
flatten
let,
every tire in your car.
let me add to this whole thing about bad drivers. There are laws against being on your motherfucking phone when you're in the car for
Yep.
motherfucking reason.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yep.
no. And
Talk
if there's a
your
little bit
stuff.
of no. If there's a little bit of rage in my voice, it's because a motherfucker almost ran me over a couple motherfucking days ago because they were in their motherfucking phone.
Yep. That happened to me like
Almost
so many
ran
times
a
in LA.
goddamn light and damn near hit me.
Yeah. Asian woman in LA almost did that to me in Koreatown. It was insane. If I didn't step on the gas, that would have been it for me.
How about somebody
Let everybody
No.
else.
who
Let me-
runs the light?
I gotta
Who
finish
runs the
this
light and
story.
gets mad at
I
you for being
gotta
a horn?
finish this story because I almost got into a goddamn fight. This cocksucker here, this motherfucker in his phone didn't see the light turn red. I'm already walking across the motherfucking street. Almost hits me because he looks up at the last fucking second. I start screaming at him. I'm standing in the crosswalk yelling at him. Pay attention to what the fuck you doing. He acting like, he gonna try to get out the motherfucking car. I said, right the fuck there. Come the fuck on. I want him to get out that car so fucking bad.
Yo, that's a threat. Always say, there's no excuse for that because you cannot buy a new phone without the first thing you see and once you open that box is it can wait, don't text and drive. So there's no excuse for that shit. So at that point, you choose to risk my life.
He's going to choose this ass whooping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wanted him to get out that car so bad.
Right?
I'm tired.
I ain't mad at you, yo. I ain't mad at it at all, yo.
I think Father brought up the wrong subject.
Nah, bro.
No, I'm glad for it, yo. That needed to be said.
Oh, Lord.
I'm just getting
don't forget, y'all, we're attacking Crystal. We can't do this.
You learn from it, Crystal. You learn from it. Learn from it the hard way. Sorry.
No, she just doesn't use signals. She doesn't text while driving.
I will
At
say this:
least.
if I contact her for something, she'll be like, "Hey, I was in the car. What's up?" X amount of time later, whenever she get to where she's trying to go. But you need to work on that turn signal thing, though. That is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, so sometimes I'll put on the turn signal and people would still cut me off. So I said, okay, motherfuckers, what if you don't know what's coming? That type of driver. Y'all, they be pissing me the fuck off.
Oh, you just
You're revenge driving.
Oh, you're petty.
She's revenge driving.
Yeah, she's petty. Okay, now we're
Oh,
getting to the
Lord.
bottom of it. Now we're figuring this out. She's petty. She's a petty.
You're not making it look good for female drivers, Crystal.
At all. Not at all. Not at all.
I'm just a little bit passive aggressive. It's all good though. It's all.
You can't be passive aggressive. I don't understand.
There's no passive there.
I've never
Where's the
understood
passive?
that concept.
Hold
I've
on.
never understood that.
What kind of car do you drive? First of all.
An SUV, and I want to.
Oh my God!
See,
You kind of move people out the way.
She got a stool.
Dangerous.
She got a stool.
Dangerous.
See, you and because my mother drive a big ass Jeep, and she wish a motherfucker would.
Bro, I don't know what it is about women and SUVs. They be driving SUVs like they got big dicks on the road. Like,
hey, she one of those move that little shit out
House
the way.
real big.
I'm just saying,
big,
you know how they
real big, everything real big.
You know how they say, oh, a man who drives like, whatever type of big ass truck or whatever, oh, he compensating for something or whatever. Like,
no, I drive a truck because I'm 6'2". I prefer to have legs.
That's the only kind of car you can fucking fit in. But anyway.
Hey man, I seen Shaq spitting little cars. I'm pretty sure Q can get them in it.
Okay, but was he sitting comfortably though? Hold up, but was he sitting comfortably though?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
But here's the question: is Shaq ever sitting comfortably?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So I mean, I don't think he cares.
That's besides There is nothing comfortable for Shaq's big ass. Anyone near his range in terms of size and weight to sit in.
When it comes to fitting, he needs everything customized. Yeah.
Hey,
right.
the most comfortable thing Shaq got is his pockets.
All I'm saying is, giving the general public the right to drive was a mistake. That's all I'm gonna say. I would take that to my fucking grave. It was a mistake letting the general public drive. They should have gave licenses only to people that were trained for fucking driving. Because the niggas that are on the motherfucking road, fuck y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn that was a driver's license.
Not well earned, yo.
I didn't want to be the one to say it, but
but they just giving out driver's license like PP loans.
Shit.
PPP loan.
If they was just giving the motherfuckers away, I'd have one. But anyway,
they just giving out PPP.
Hey,
loans.
shout out to the people with PPP loans that's gonna get caught this summer.
Hey, I'm about to say, hey, shout out to your lawyer because you gonna need them.
Oh, you know they coming down on the PPP loan people, man. I was like, I think my father was about to get me one. I'm glad he didn't.
Shit.
PPP stands for preparing
Y'all would not
for
see
prison.
me.
PPP stands for preparing prior to prison. That's all you do. You just prepare yourself for prison.
Q, what the fuck?
I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry.
Preparing prior to quit prison.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Oh, you about to break. You about to break him.
Oh my God.
That's fucked up. I can't even. I'm never gonna look at that same now. Thanks a lot.
Hey, you're welcome. This is what I'm here for.
You the reach guy.
The reach guy. Was that a reach or not? I'm telling you.
I got my hand I got my hand extended right now just for you.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
That's Dawson style reach right there. Shit.
That was funny. Oh my God. I had to laugh at that one. But that's all they're doing is preparing to go to jail. I swear, you going to jail.
Go ahead, Ray. What's your final thoughts? I'm tired.
I think I think we all need to take a lesson from Joe Budden because when he had
What?
Oh, shit.
What?
to never do business
What
with
the
Joe
fuck
Budden,
did you just say?
I think we all should learn a lesson from Joe Budden,
Hey, I
and
didn't
it's
tell you
that
to
don't
repeat
do,
it.
and that is to don't do business with Joe Budden.
Oh yeah, good
Because
job.
everything-
That was a great comeback.
You know what?
Yeah, because everything he touches turns into shit, and or gets sexually harassed. So
Oh my god.
That was crazy.
I don't even know how to react to that.
Hey,
I don't even know how
I'm
to react
reaching
to
for
that.
the stars. Hey, I'm sorry.
look, I would love to say like it's not true, but it's actually history. Like, first off, everybody should know Joe Budden is crazy when he said about Esther Bassett, I didn't sit on her stomach, I sat on her breast or some shit like that, or some dumb shit.
Oh god.
And I mean, I like his pod. Don't get me wrong, I like his podcast, but I knew that brother was very, very emotional sometimes when people be. You can look at him sometimes when his rants. So
I knew it when he was about to get in a fight at the BET Awards with the Migos.
I
oh, that's
remember
still
that shit.
All that.
that's still hilarious to me.
How was you about to fight? Who got left off Bad and Bougie?
You left off Bad Bougie. You tell me I got left out of Bad
We
Bougie.
still trying to figure it out.
What'd you say? You look like I left.
You let it on Bad Bougie. You let it on Bad Bougie.
Who got left on Bad and Bougie?
Yo,
You know what?
That was crazy funny. Oh man, Joe Budden, you're shitty.
Yeah, you know how I've said in the past. You know how I've said before, like some people got no business having the platform that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Joe Budden
No,
is
I'm not
one
gonna
of
say
the
that.
prime examples.
I'm not gonna say he has no business because he's good at what he does. Just this is what happens when people don't appreciate the platform that they have, and this is why he never got over on top. I mean, got over when he wanted to be an artist, and now he spends it. This is just like Kwame Brown.
oh my
This is
god.
perfect. Ray, thank you.
Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown and Joe Budden live in the same house. Y'all both had number one picks. He had a number one hit, and he was a number one pick, and y'all both did not live up to the expectations. And you are now the butt of everybody's joke, and all you do is criticize everybody who's more successful than you.
Yeah, I saw how he.
And I like Joe Budden, but I've always said this: Joe Budden is in his own way. That's the problem I be having with Joe Budden is that he's a good dude, and like that what he's doing, like going in the pit, like a lot of people, like you're owning your own platform, so you basically giving your own media what you want. But the stupid shit he do on the side always gets in the way, and it's just like again, Tyra Banks, I'm rooting for you, but you're pissing me off. It's just.
This is what happened when
we're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you, but why?
This is what happened when weak-minded people get power.
And it's not even legit power. That's the sad part about the whole thing. Like this whole COVID situation. You saw what happened. I made like a little video because I went to the DMV. I asked this lady, "Hey, do I have to wear a mask in here?" This bitch took 30 seconds to say no, but her eyes was rolling and all of that. So, okay, you don't want to abide the law when it's not me being restricted, but when I'm restricted, you have so much fucking attitude. It's that legit that I just can't stand when you're limiting people. So, yeah.
They love that power, yo.
Joe Budden's trash.
I mean, a man to argue with Nicki Minaj, and she does to you. You're arguing with a whole woman. Yeah, his priorities is all fucked up.
What was that about again?
He's his own priority. He only cares about him.
That shows.
I initially think he does what he wants. I think this is all what he wants to do, and he's okay with it.
You know how it is when those.
I just think he's his own fuck up. I feel like if he just gets out the way most of the time, he'd be fine. Like I don't like seeing like him having sexual assault allegations on him and all that other stuff. And I believe Olivia Dope too. So it's not like I don't believe it because on camera he did the little grinding little hip movement joint and all that other stuff. So it's just like I believe her, but it's just like I wish you just get out your way. That's all I ask. So
Think people.
and
Huh?
go ahead.
I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. I just think people who can't get out of their way and they just happen to be celebrities, it's just a down spiral fuckery. Like, what's that other guy's name? Cuddy. You saw what happened to him. And we would say, looking from the outside in, that he had everything. What is his issue? Why is he just spiraling out of control and starting fights with people? It's never normal. It's always a mental issue. He's the only one that did it right. He got mental help.
Hold on, what celebrity did you say? Because I missed it.
Oh, with Kid Cudi?
Oh, Kid Cudi? Oh.
Yeah.
But that was apparent though. Like if you actually listen to his music, he talks about the shit that's going on with him through his music. Like he spoke on that shit.
Not everybody listens to his music, Dion.
Yeah, I was about to say
I know.
it.
I know, but I'm just saying it just needed to be thrown out there.
It was.
I was about to. Don't get me wrong. I never thought he was a bad artist. I just he was never for me. He was too depressed. Kid Cudi was too depressing for me. It's just like. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Brandon, but yeah. I do think I would say this. Kid Cudi did speak to a generation, but it was just not for me. And shout outs to Velveteen Dream. I hope you find another job soon. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast. I would like to thank the panel for getting on. I would like to thank all of y'all for listening. This is You Know What? Let me just say podcast, and we're signing out. Peace.
Peace.
All right, peace. Thank you.